Good.
Oh, that's perfect.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Glow Crazy Podcast. We are your hosts, Grace and Jamie. I'm Grace.
I'm Jamie.
We are so happy you are tuning in today. Happy Selfcare Sunday, everybody. If you're new here, welcome to the show. We are so happy to have you. And if you've been with us before, you know the drill. Here's our weekly gift to you.
I have a cute one. It's a massage scalp oil thing. I guess oil should be excluded. But yeah, a little head massager, a little scalp massager to relax. I use this like once a year, but I love it when I do use it.
That's great. Our Glow Crazy listeners are going to eat that right up. They're going to have the healthiest
Here,
scalps in the whole wide world.
Exactly. And the most relaxed day ever.
Oh, perfect. Perfect for Selfcare Sunday. Well, you guys will get your gift if you subscribe down below. If you are watching on video on YouTube or Spotify, you're going to have a blast with us today. If you're listening on audio, you can listen to us on Apple, Spotify.
Yeah.
This is your journey, okay? Don't forget to grab your Glow Crazy merch if you haven't already on Etsy. Our link is in the description below. And if you wear your Glow Crazy merch, we'll glow extra crazy together. If you guys are watching on video, you see that we have a special guest here with us today. This is my lovely friend, Mary Crouse. I've mentioned her on the podcast before. Now you get to see her beautiful glowing face. Mary, if you'd like to say hello to our Glow Crazy listeners.
Hello.
Hi, Mary.
This is my Mary. She owns the boutique that I wax out of. I absolutely love that space. It is so gorgeous. And she's also the owner, as I've mentioned before, of Effin Yoga in Rincon, Georgia.
F yeah.
F yeah.
F yeah.
Now, Mary, which one of those businesses did you open first? And like, what made you finally open up your own business?
So I opened my studio first, and this is the second time I've had to open it because I actually lived a little further into Savannah, Georgia. Our town is right next to that. And I opened that space because I had been teaching at a yoga studio. I started with bar and like fitness classes. And I was teaching at a yoga studio that also had fitness classes. And there just wasn't really space on the schedule for me to teach more than fitness because I just hadn't really like taught enough to get my clientele for yoga, I guess. And I had outgrown that space. My classes were too big and I wasn't really getting to have creative freedom. So this sweet little French lady had taught yoga in a one-room studio for like 10 years, and she had a grandbaby and wanted to give it up and just let me take over her lease. So that was really lucky. And then when I moved out here for my kids, better schools, just better kind of family lifestyle, I guess. I put everything in storage for a year and taught here at the YMCA. And saw that there just was not a studio vibe in this little town. And so I built one.
See, wow. And it was such a great move. I feel like Rincon is really growing so much. And
yeah, my first studio was called the Bar and Yoga Room because her business was called the Yoga Room. And I had some marketing friends that were really smart. And they said, you want those people to still be able to find you since you want to start teaching yoga as well. So that's why I just made it the Bar and Yoga Room. So like I would still come up in searches. And then I kept that business name when I first moved to Effingham and kept that. But when COVID hit and I was like, you know what, it looks like I'm going to live here forever. I have 2 kids now, all of that. I just wanted to make something fun and local. And I also knew people didn't really know what yoga was here. And so I thought if I made it fun, they would come. And they didn't. I think they just come because it's called Effin Yoga, but it's okay.
Well, like I said, when I first drove into this town, when I moved here, that was like one of the first signs that I saw.
It is.
Like,
it's like the
studio.
County line.
Seriously, yeah, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
My landlord, when I changed the name and I put a big sticker on the door, she texted me. She was like, "Are you going to put that on the building?" I was like, "I am."
Yeah, I am. That's a business
Effin
name.
yoga. It is the best name I think I've ever heard. Like genuinely.
It
Thank
really
you.
is so great. It always brings a smile to people's faces. Now, Mary, has fitness always been something that you've really been into, or was there a point in your life where you really turned to fitness?
No, I started dancing when I was 3. I lived in Auburn, and my mom worked a lot, and my godmother lived next to a dance studio, and just was like, that's something I can take her to. Like literally, it was in the neighborhood. So I
Wow.
started there, and I was pretty good. And so when we moved from Auburn, my dad graduated school. I took gymnastics for a while. I loved that. I was really athletic. And from there, I just kind of went from, like dance to cheer. I played some sports. I played volleyball and softball, but I got really injured. I broke my back before high school. And so I had to kind of take more of the dance route, but that's when I started getting into Pilates and focusing on stretching more to not be injured. I learned all of that from my back injury with PT. And so I danced through college. That was actually my minor for a while. And it just was always my therapy. I had a lot of anxiety, had 5 siblings, so a really busy house, and exercise was my reason to get away. Like if I told my mom, hey, I'm going to the gym, or hey, I'm going for a run, there was never any questions. It wasn't like, are you sneaking out? It was like, oh, she's going to work out. So it was like I was never told no. And so it's just always been my thing. And then when I was pregnant with my kids, postpartum was really hard for me. And so exercise was just like my remedy of getting back to being myself.
I love
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
Pilates is the best thing that has ever been invented, ever.
And it's
Pilates
really
is
interesting.
amazing.
Like, look up the history. It's so fascinating. Joseph Pilates actually was a prisoner
Joseph
of war,
Pilates.
and he took the springs out of mattresses to create Pilates equipment so that people in the prison camps could understand resistance on their bodies. It's just because he was really sick and he healed himself through exercise, which is really just a testament to, like, if there's a will, there's a way. So there's, yeah, the background of any movement type always starts with someone that was like, I have to figure out how to get better. And I like those stories too.
That's
I
beautiful.
love that. And there's
You
always that's I'm
you
sorry, do you
have
want to say?
kids? You have 2 kids?
I do. Yeah.
You look our age.
Oh
You
my
look
God.
amazing. You literally like when you nonchalantly just said you had kids, I was like, oh, hold on. Hold on.
Mary and
Oh
I
my
were
God.
antiquing the other day, and she went back to one of the antique stores that we went to the
Oh
next
yeah.
day. And the worker was like, "Oh yeah, you were here with your sister yesterday, right?" Yep.
Yep. I was.
My boyfriend said, he was like, yep, they're like that.
Wow. How old are they? How old are your kids?
My son will be 15 next month, and my daughter's almost 7.
Oh
Yeah.
my, there's no way.
Thank you. Get that
That's
Pilates,
amazing.
bro.
Now, that kind of signifies or signals that you take very great care of your skin.
Mm-hmm.
I try to. I will say that has come in the last couple years because I think I used to think like everyone else as kind of invincible, like
Mm.
I'm young or whatever. Again, listen, I love my 2 children. Pregnancy is terrible. It ruins everything. When people are like, I
Right.
had the best hair and I felt glowing. No, it's disgusting. My skin was dried out. My hair broke off like both pregnancies. This whole section, it just stuck straight up while it was growing out. Um, it was not a fun chapter. So after I had Addie, Nick, I just got so fat. I was just, but with Addie, I just, like they say, girls rob your beauty, like boys make you big,
Yeah.
but girls take your beauty. And I felt that way. So that's when I
You said that's
really
true.
got into my skincare. But now Addie does it with me. So it's fun. Like we do facials, and because I want her to grow up thinking that's the norm. I didn't really have that growing up. My mom would like buy me some Nature's Cure. I didn't like really break out or anything, but she would be like, here's some
Mhm.
St. Ives apricot scrub, you know.
Woo!
Yeah. Yeah.
No, there wasn't really like
Yeah.
any education on it, so that's where I've
Yeah.
gotten kind of passionate
That's
about it.
that's what it
Oh,
was.
Jamie,
It used to
you
be that
should have
way.
seen
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Mary posted the cutest reel of her and her daughter Addie doing facials. Oh my gosh.
I love that.
It took me back to doing facials with my mom.
Right? It's
That's a
so
core
sweet.
memory right there.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw, cute. So I want to talk about your boutique for a little bit. So you open the studio and you have
Yep.
your bar, you have your yoga, amazing. And what was that jump that you took to start adding more inventory? Because I walked into your boutique and it is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Genuinely, it's huge. It goes on for miles. And I
Oh,
love everything in there.
thank you. So the girl that owns the spray tan company I started using, I actually have known her forever. When I lived in Savannah, she would bring a spray tan tent and her gun to my small space, the first little studio I had, and she would spray all my friends. Like, it was a place we could meet because she didn't have a space yet. And it was us helping each other. And so when COVID hit, I had always told her, hey, if you ever decide to sell your solution and your products, I want to put them in my studio. Because I'd had the studio for probably about 2 years at that point. And she was always kind of like, okay. Well, COVID hit and she had just trained her first 3 people, and maybe 4. And I reached out to her and I was like, look, I want to do this. Like, I don't know if the fitness industry is going to keep going. I need another way to make money, right? And she said, okay. And kind of funny coincidence, I had made her first website ever. It was basic. It was a WordPress site, and you could just like put your email address in there so you could book an appointment. And so she and I got talking. She was like, we've gotten so busy and I just want to spray tan. Could you come in and help me on like the back end of things with, social media and stuff? And I was like, absolutely. So because I worked with the brand, essentially, I got to really learn a lot more about skincare and the science of things, and the fact that, there are a lot of companies out there that are just producing products without really the thought of what it does to your skin. And so when I got to know more about it and share all of that, my clientele really grew because I was the only person in town doing it, compared to like a chain across the street that does like the machine, where you like do all that.
Yeah.
And so people liked that. And I used the back office in my studio and I just started spraying. It helped me survive COVID, brought in extra money, and then COVID ended. And I was like, well, I don't want to give this up now. I'm making money. So it was a mess. It was getting to where we needed more space for equipment because the studio was growing, but that room was disgusting. You can only clean it so often, and you don't want all your weights and stuff around all of that. So a couple was renovating a retail space that they had that had been a spa. And they let me come look at it, and they were like, we don't want to spend a ton of money demoing walls and stuff. And I said, just leave it, because I knew I could rent the rooms out or use them for other things. So I just kind of took a chance and said, I'm going to move this, the spray tan. And I did have some clothes there, like some leggings and all the beat tan stuff and all. And so I moved that to start a boutique. And then the spray tanning only takes up one room. So when I saw all this other square footage that wasn't making money, I filled it up. So
yeah, no kidding.
now we have now I have both, and I'm crazy, but Grace helps me stay sane.
And I love every second of it. It is like,
We eat a lot of
my
burritos.
gosh.
We have lunch breaks and burritos.
It's great. Queso,
I'm jealous.
burritos. Oh, it's beautiful, Jamie. And let
So
me tell you, since the last time you were here, the boutique has gotten just even more beautiful somehow.
It really has. The last couple weeks of hanging and like putting more stuff up, it's really, really a sweet space.
Yeah.
And honestly, Effingham, I am from Old South. Like, I am from South Alabama. All my family's on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Like, that's as south as you can get. But Effingham really didn't have like a space, I feel like, where you walked in and it was really colorful. It was, everything was kind of like the same kind of gifts and the same kind of clothes. And even though I'm from down here, I don't necessarily have that vibe. But there's so many, I have tattoos and I'm just a little different. And I wanted to create a space where people like me could come in and shop and feel that way, and maybe shop local instead of like on Amazon or something like that.
Yep.
Totally. Building that community. Like I said, I was craving a community, and Mary has built a beautiful one.
Listen, I will say about Grace, we'll just brag on Grace for a second.
Yeah, let's do it.
Right? Grace came to take class, and when I first started my studio, I used to, and this goes for like any trade or skill that you're good at, I think. You want to be the best because that's how you make money, right? People are paying you when you're in the service-based industry. But when you're an owner, that's really exhausting because if you're not working, you're not making money. And then you can't go out of town, or if your kid has a doctor's appointment, like all those things. So in the beginning, I had only 3 people on my teaching team. It was me and 2 others. One is still with me. And we've slowly grown. And in the beginning, people would come up to me and be like, I'd love to be a teacher. And that sometimes does work. I have 3 on my teaching team that wanted to teach, but it really came from more of a place of like, I just want to understand this for my body better. Those are some really good teachers because they fall in love with it from understanding. But then you have people that you see and you're just like, that's in her body. And when they move that way, they'll be a good teacher because it, like, the energy is there. So Grace came to take a class, and I just kind of attacked her and was like, where have you practiced before? And she told me she, had lived somewhere close by and practiced at a place that I knew. And I didn't think of her as teaching at that point, but that is what sparked the conversation. She was like, I started a wax studio. And I was like, well, do you want to wax out here? And she was like, yes. And I was like, I have a room. And it was literally like 2 days later, you were like walking your shit in. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I literally paid off my lease for my other spot, and I was like, thank you.
Yeah. And from there, she kept coming to the studio, and that kind of sparked the conversation of now her teaching bar as well. And everyone, Helen and I actually, before we started this, were talking about people bragging about your class this week and how great it was. But, I think whether it's the beauty industry or the fitness industry, they're both in that vanity self-care kind of space. And if you can make people feel good in one, you can make them feel good in the other. And that's how you can really just expand, making a livelihood off of it,
Yeah. When they leave your boutique, they're buying a whole new
outfit.
And a gift for somebody else that they love. So just our whole one-stop shop on making people feel good about themselves.
Right.
It's amazing.
It's so great. Mary, you've done an incredible job. I'm so grateful to be a part of it. I tell her all the time. I'm always like, oh, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Yeah. This one, please don't leave me. I'm like, girl, what is happening that I'm not seeing? Because you are stuck with me. So did you plan on just selling athleisure at first in the boutique? Or like what made you...
Yeah.
Did you go in with a full plan?
Well, the studio, was a fitness studio. So actually, when I first moved out here, the only place to really shop was Walmart and Kroger. And our Kroger is like Target. Like, don't knock it. I love fancy Kroger. It's got good stuff. But, I came from Huntsville, Alabama, and Auburn and Savannah, where spending $100 on a pair of leggings because they're bright red with see-through stripes was nothing. But in Effingham, you got Walmart, and they spend $19. It was just a different market. And so I knew that it would be very hard to make people see athletic wear as an investment rather than a luxury. But I sweat all day, right? That's what I do for a living. So I invest in my workout clothes. And I put a lot of athletic clothes in there that were maybe a lower price point. But what I really started pushing was a brand that you can sell online. You know, there's lots of brands out there that you can sell to make money. And again, during COVID, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to find every source of revenue I can. And so I started selling Zaya, if you've ever heard of that. And I didn't think people would buy it. It's like a really good Lulu dupe. And it paid my bills. I mean, literally, it paid the studio rent for almost a year during COVID. And so I kept selling that, and they have more. It started as just leggings and sports bras, but then they started doing more of the athleisure stuff. And so when I saw that that was making money, and people were liking it and starting to see like, oh, maybe $65 for a pair of leggings is actually reasonable because they'll last, that kind of thing. I still focused on that, but I started seeing, you know, those customers still buy other things. So I need to offer more options so that they can shop more. And maybe you don't want to wear leggings every day just because I do. And so that's how it kind of expanded to offer more.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Is that around, did you start selling Saint makeup around that time, or was that from before?
Girl, I was like, I don't care what it is. If you're going to buy it, I'm going to sell it.
Yeah.
And mainly because I was getting divorced at the time. It was a very unsure time for me. And it also gave me a lot of confidence. I think that everyone was doing the same thing at the same time, right? Everyone was at home selling something. I did online sewing classes during COVID. Okay.
Wow.
I was literally like every single day, I was like, I will be damned if I have to close that yoga studio. We're going to pay the rent. And so, yeah, my hairdresser at the time had used Saint makeup forever. And I had been using another, it was like I can't even remember the name, but it was a very basic, like BB cream line of not even skincare, just like SPF and like makeup you could put on to wear to the gym. And they went out of business with COVID. And so I needed to use something else. And my hairdresser had used Saint forever. She had breast cancer at the time. And I was like, all of us kind of jumped on board to sell it to help her make extra money as well. And I was like, they'll buy leggings. Maybe they'll buy this. And sure enough, I got lucky. So Grace is actually helping me kind of put like a little station in the store. What I also like about the boutique is we've tried to make it interactive. I think that people really want an experience these days. They don't want to just walk in and shop and then leave with their purchase. They want to walk in and feel like they put their touch on it, or like they took part in creating something. So, you know, we have like our little press room where they can make a hat, like they get to actually design it. Or we're creating like a gathering space in the back where they can come and do crafts or have birthday parties. And we have like a couple of creative people that are going to host like paint night or cookie night, things like that. Again, you're getting to make something and take it with you. Saint Makeup's a lot like that. You actually get to like put the palette together. So I think that's a big draw to anything, is not just picking out a color and leaving. People like to really feel like they're putting their personal spin on things.
Yeah, I love that. It's like a little magnetic palette.
Yeah, it's neat. And it's all in one place. It also went on brand with me being a busy mom in the fitness industry, because I always have it, right? Like it's just a little palette I could put in my purse and take with me and touch up and not look like I've been sweating since 5 a.m.
Wait, that's so adorable. You also totally answered my question that I didn't even ask yet. I was going to say, what's your advice on creating a personalized shopping experience for your customers? And I guess that was it. That's awesome.
Well, so I'm a member of the Boutique Hub, if you've ever heard of that. And, you know, boutiques all across the country are struggling because everyone can shop online, or Amazon is so inexpensive. I mean, I'm guilty of it. You know, like I had to buy clay for my daughter's classroom yesterday, and I know it's going to be here by noon. That convenience is really key. So Grace and I do a lot online because if we post, people don't even have to get out of their house. I think a lot of people are still addicted to that let's stay at home and be comfortable life that we had for a year or so. But the thing that makes boutiques work these days is experiences, I think. And so with Beat Tan, that's actually kind of what the boutique hub lets us push with them. We're a partner with them, is the fact that if boutiques or salons or whatever it is are struggling, if you add spray tans, your customers are getting an experience. Again, they're not just coming in and shopping. You're connecting with them on a deeper level because getting up close and personal with someone when they take their clothes off, you have to get to know them and make them comfortable and vulnerable. So I think giving them that experience makes them more likely to support your other endeavors. And Grace is great about getting them yoga and wax girls or the spray tan and wax girls into some yoga.
Every single time.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a woman who was like, I just have no one to go to kickboxing with. I'm like, I'll go. Yeah. I'll go with you.
Again, that's community and making people. The thing that is really important to me in both spaces is so many of us feel we don't fit in. And so, or that they're not pretty enough, or they're not skinny enough, or they don't have the right clothes. And I think both spaces are very, very, like at the studio, a good thing about taking all that retail out was it took the pressure off of having to wear something fancy out of the studio. I want people to come in there and to practice and to work out, to feel good, not to feel pressured to shop, if that makes sense. So I try really hard. Like we have some cute stuff in there, but like we're starting to really minimize it. We actually just ordered a bunch of stuff to make shirts to hang up that'll be like merchandise, like logoed and branded. But as far as like, hey, buy these new leggings, we just got them, I just don't like it. I taught in that space for a couple of years, and it just feels like buy more. And that's really not the purpose of the space. And then at the boutique, it's really hard as a boutique owner to shop for your niches, right? Like I am about a size 4, so it's hard for me to understand and shop for people maybe in the plus size era. So I feel like our boutique may not have clothing for everyone. We have clothing for a good range, and we do have some plus size things, but we do have skincare and gifts that work for everyone. So it's not like someone's coming in and they're like, oh, that store's not for me. No, it is. It just may only be for you in this particular product, if that makes sense.
The category. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, in terms of, you're talking about like knowing niches with fashion and skincare and things like that, what do you think you want to lean towards when it comes to the boutique? What may set you apart? Because one of the questions is, are there other boutiques in the area? And oddly enough, there are a good amount.
There are. I think we're one of 4 now.
Yeah.
Well, I love young and vibrant, and I don't feel like you have to change how you dress just because you get older. I mean, obviously
Period.
I'll have to tone it down in some things. And I want to be elegant at some events, but I also want to wear something really bright and short sometimes. And so we live in a very conservative place, and I like to lean a little bit more on the edgy, I take care of myself and I'm okay to wear this kind of side of things. I feel like you're as young as you feel, and what you wear and how you take care of yourself goes along with that. So you don't have to wear something big and baggy just because you're over 45,
Right.
So I want to keep promoting. I think we're really on the right track of having some like colorful but conservative tops and maybe dresses that are like Sunday or formal wear approved, like business attire. But we also have like, if you're going to Vegas or Nashville, here's something cute to wear out on the road. Or you know, I love the beach and the lake. So sunny vibes, things you can wear outside, show off your legs and your spray tan, you know? So that's kind of the vibe I want to do more. Like, girl, you worked hard to look that good. Wear that.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love
your zone
that.
is your spine too.
Yeah.
Now,
love it. Yeah.
having two businesses maybe just a little bit stressful. I don't know. It may cause some stress. If you are feeling burnt out, what
Yeah.
are some practices that you do? How do you navigate that?
I would say the year before last, I burnout is such, I think, a broad term that is not quite understood. I think that burned out does, I think when I first started teaching yoga, like there was a whole portion in our training about burnout. And I think maybe they didn't approach it in like a full circle kind of way. Cause you know, burnout is really not just like, I'm tired, I don't want to do this anymore. Burnout is more, it's like an actual physical response. So I teach yoga from a psychological standpoint. Picture in picture. Something just popped up on my screen. Tell me if it changes anything for y'all. So I went to, my degree is actually in psychology, and so when I teach yoga, that's the, I think everyone's mental health is at the forefront, right? That really should be why we exercise, not for the vanity reasons at all, for the health reasons, especially mental health. And so the year before last, like, it wasn't just that I was tired. On a physical level, I had so much inflammation and my body was literally just like breaking down. It was like, this is too much. So for one, it's really hard to exercise when you're exhausted from exercising because you teach all day, right?
Yeah.
So I got really into breath work and learning how breath work really works in the body. Like, did you know there's hairs in your nose that when you inhale and exhale through your nose, they actually signify to your nervous system that you're safe? So, like, there's a reason when we get sick or we go to the doctor or we're hyperventilating and they're just like, hey, calm down, take deep breaths. If the more you breathe more nasally, it actually is, it's cleaning your nasal patterns as well as like parts of your brain that move air through and all, but it literally is telling your nervous system like you're in a safe space and you can slow down. So I started really trying to breathe more, and like I have noticed over the past year, even when something happens that just irritates the life out of me, I respond so much slower. I'm not as quickly to be like, oh my gosh. I'm just like, okay. And then I kind of think and move forward. So that really honestly, like learning to take breaks, to sit, read if I can, but sometimes it's just sitting and breathing. It's hard to do self-care when self-care is your life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I take care of
Yeah.
people in so many different avenues. So my self-care as a professional there has to be something totally different.
Oh my God, good
Totally.
point.
That is so
That's
true. Like,
yeah.
it's funny because I think about myself and how I struggle with consistency, but I'm always like telling my clients that is the most important part of your treatment is the
Right.
consistency afterwards. And it's just ironic that I tend to struggle with that, you
Yeah,
know?
I think I thought about this a lot because just like how I'm like people that are like, should I go to class every day? I'm like, why would you not? You know, then I look at myself and I'm like, well, maybe I should, you know, practice what I preach. But at the same time, um, I think that it almost makes us feel selfless, right? Like I'm not
Yeah.
doing this for me because I'm doing it for everyone else. It's kind of like maternal, like motherly in a way, you know, like taking like a nurturing vibe or way of living. And so, like, just thinking of moms, or even like my own mom, you know, she had 6 kids. And so she's doing for herself now because she didn't have time growing up or when we were growing up. And I've noticed that I do a lot of that. Like, I'm not going to go to class this week. I got to fill in for these 3 teachers. Like, there's no time. So then you have to find something else to fill that space that you need for self-care. And I think that's where the consistency part, like in this kind of profession, is hard.
Totally.
6
Totally.
kids. Oh my gosh.
I
A lot
know,
of
6
kids.
kids. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It was fun. It's an adventure.
Oh my God. So, what have been some of your greatest milestones since you've opened anything, any of
Um,
your businesses?
yeah, my yoga studio. So I think, when I opened the studio, I worked really hard to offer a kind of yoga for everyone. And again, like I think I'm the first studio space out here because there were quite a few in Savannah that approached yoga from a mental health standpoint rather than old school yoga or hot yoga or like a branded kind of yoga. I was like, no, we're just going to move. We're going to feel good. Some of my teachers really put in some of the traditional things like namaste and stuff like that. That is the beauty of that space. They get to be their own person and put their own element on things, which is really important because everyone loves like the variety. But as a whole, the space is really more a feel good space, a feel good studio. That's how I like to kind of put on our branding. And we won Best Studio in 2 counties last year. We're actually in Effingham, but we won in Chatham County, which is where Savannah and Pooler are. And then we also won in Effingham. And I think it was kind of a testament to like, hey, you're on the right track. People they want to take care of themselves. It's not really about putting some particular like yoga has to evolve like everything else. Fitness
Mm-hmm.
has to evolve to be with us where we are today. So that was a huge one for sure. I think the boutique, we've only been open a little over a year. We're in the running for Best Boutique and Best Spray Tan and Best Waxing. We were nominated for all of those in the Most Fab. So we're hoping that we win those. I think we're just getting to where our first milestones will be with that business. I think staying open a year, honestly. Most businesses close in the first year to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in a boutique world. So I think just staying open and not going in the red or, always making payroll in the first year was a big deal with that space. So, and I have no idea what I'm doing. Grace is literally figuring out how to add stuff to Shopify this week, and we've been open for over a year. I mean, so we're
Making
surviving
it work.
there.
So I voted for you as best waxer. Where can everybody vote? Can we're gonna put the voting link in the description.
Yeah, thanks.
This
It's a link. Grace, tell them.
this will be the last day. So hopefully you are watching this early on Sunday.
Okay.
And you can vote until 5. Vote Effin Yoga, Best Fitness Center, the Boutique for the best boutique that's in the shopping section.
Mm-hmm.
And then Go and Glow for best waxing. What's the other one? Isn't there one more?
Boutique for tanning.
Tanning, yes. So
Awesome.
all of that's in beauty and wellness, and then the Boutique for shopping is in the shopping section. You'll see it.
I love that. Amazing. Everyone go right now in the description. Literally right now.
Go. Pause us and go do it.
Okay, that's awesome. I want to ask a few more fun questions before we wrap up. So, the clothes in your boutique. If you could dress any celebrity in the clothes that you sell, who and how would you dress them?
Oh gosh.
Think about it. Take your time.
We have so many cute things.
We do. I love I love Kate Hudson. I've been told before that I kind of look like her. Like I guess it's just the blonde hair, but I guess just dressing my own self, I could see some stuff fitting like her coloring. That bright stripy shirt we have, Grace?
The rainbow one, kind of.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I'd probably put her in something like that, or maybe like the green dress with the little cutout.
I'll have to include pictures so that you guys can see.
But bright and fun and like young and like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So cute. That's a great question, Jamie.
Yeah, it is.
I love that question. All right. What is your go-to fashion trend right now?
Ooh.
Well, if I wasn't sweaty all the time and in leggings, because that's what I do. Um, I don't really keep up with trends, honestly. I will forever be a lover of tank tops, kind of a burned out look, and then I love like cut off shorts, things like that. I'm not a big jean wearer. I did buy some really nice jeans this winter. Still haven't worn them. But I'm trying to get into them. To want to wear them. But I always love bright colors. Grace and I did color matching recently, and it's something I want to like study more. Like I'll put something on and think I love it, and then go to wear it to an event and be like, I hate this, and have to change. So I think more than a trend, I'm wanting to understand more about dressing for my color palette and my skin tone and like my body.
What is your color palette?
What am I, Grace? I'm an autumn
palettes.
something. What was the
Yeah,
second? I'm a
Are
warm
you-
autumn. Was that it?
Are you in autumn? It wasn't a spring?
No, because
Wait,
remember
am I
she
spring?
did the greens, but I liked the bright colors.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised by because I think I ended up being a spring, right?
Yes, that's right.
Which
Yeah,
I was
that
like,
lip was so bright, but it was so pretty.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience, and it did confirm. Like, Mary, are you wearing your boutique crew neck right now?
Yeah.
Hand press, girl.
I love
So
that.
that color, Mary looks gorgeous in it. Jamie, you look beautiful. If you've seen me, and it's the same crew neck that we have for our merch. If I wear that and I have in podcast episodes, I look ill. Go back, find a thumbnail that I'm wearing that sweatshirt in, and you'll say, like, she is not the cutest. But it confirms, like, okay, that's not in my palette.
It was really interesting. I think, too, not that I want to, like, go into studying that or knowing how to do it, but I think that it's a great thing to at least have someone we can refer people to to do it, because I think it'll make their own shopping experience so much better. It won't feel so overwhelming going to shop in our store, and we have a ton of stuff, but it's like, where do I start if I don't know what color looks good on me or something like that. Like, if orange is their color, we'll put all the oranges together, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's even more interactive in the
true.
boutique, so that's fun.
There is a woman that spray tans for us in Virginia, and she always looks stunning in everything she posts. And I got to know her in January at the retreat, and she does color matching for her clients. And so again, her boutique is interactive in so many ways, whether she's giving them a spray tan or she's teaching them about their colors. But I realize that's why everything that she posts looks so good, because she truly does pick something that works with someone's color and skin tone when she has them model her merchandise.
Oh, wow.
Makes sense.
That's really smart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Her name's Angie, and she's wonderful.
Hey, Angie.
Shout out to Angie. We love you.
Shout out to Angie.
Send Angie this. So you're going to be online kind of soon. Where can we find you? What's your social media? How would you like to promote? What do you want to tell all the listeners to go and find you at? Tell us any closing thoughts, anything that you have in store, any pipeline things.
All right. I would say our website is under construction. So for now, find us probably on Instagram at the Rincon. That's TheRinconBeautique. It's like beauty, but boutique. So the Rincon Boutique on Instagram. And we'll put all of our links in the bio on there. And we post everything. Everything will be tagged. Like, if you want to shop straight from Instagram, some of us are impulse buyers, that kind of thing. But really just watch for what we're putting out, because we are working for the next couple months to really get us up and going with the more interactive side of things. And Grace will have some cute new shirts for us soon.
Yes.
Sport our logo.
There's a lot to see. So stay tuned.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all so much for having me. This was so fun.
Thank you for coming on. I'm so excited to show the world your beautiful face, and I just wanted everyone to hear your story. I'm so excited. I'm going to tell all my whole family, go see Mary. They're going to be so excited to see. This is just so sick, Mary. Thank you for coming on.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And
It was nice to meet you, Jamie.
It was so nice to meet you. I loved it. Just for everybody else, if you liked this episode, please let us know in the comments. If you want us to interview anybody else that you know and love, please shoot us a message because we love to do this. Rate us 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening to this on. Check out the description for social media, Mary's social media, and the link to go vote if you're watching this before 5 p.m. And of course, do something that makes you happy today. Drink your water, wear your SPF, and glow crazy, everybody.
Glow crazy.
Can we dance back out?
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Jazz hands.